All right, my name's Brent from ENCORE. This is a Tesla Model 3 matte finish paint protection film is what we're putting on it. And let's go ahead and go over some of the tucking and trimming of the edges so you can kind of see what to expect from that. The one thing that I've noticed about matte finish film that should be noted is it cuts different. Sometimes I can get it to squeak and sometimes I can't get the squeaky sound to know that I'm doing a good cut. So I almost treat it like it's a vinyl that I'm trimming on the car. So something that's much thinner, it also doesn't grab onto you don't feel the resistance when you're pulling across it with the knife. And so you just want to be really careful not obviously to cut through into the paint. So I just go super gentle on it. And then you also then have to be very careful when you're tearing the material that you're tearing it away from the pattern. At least it's tearing it away from the area that's on the bumper. So if I was pulling this, you'll see when I'm installing it, but when I'm pulling this back, I'd be pulling up so that if it does happen to not have an area that's cut cut deep enough in order for it to tear on that line, it shoots off this way. Instead, if I'm pulling it like this, it's going to shoot off into the bumper. That I found was much more common of a situation to run into with the matte finish film versus the gloss. All right, well, let's get going on some of these pieces. All right, so what we've got here is the material right just up to this edge attached to the bumper, and then I went ahead and put some soapy water underneath it to get it disconnected from the headlight. And we're going to go ahead and trim this now. So I don't know if you can hear it there, but there's no squeak on this, and that always scares me a little bit. It's just different is all. See, so I mean it cut fine and I still had to tear it, so I wasn't going through it, but it didn't make the squeak sound, so just keep that in mind. Every once in a while I do get it to squeak, but it's just not the same as gloss. All right, so I'll get some tack solution underneath there, and then we're gonna go ahead and tuck that in. All right, and personally I'm fine with it if it hangs over a little bit on the back. We haven't had any issues from that as far as coming up later down the road. Now on this part here, what I went ahead and did is pulled back the wheel well and pulled it back, and I removed 3 10mm bolts that are like right here. So there's like 1, 2, and 3. Those come out, and then this part of the bumper will come loose. This will help you get all this tucked in real good so that you've got a nice edge on the fender and on the bumper right at this edge. Otherwise they're super tight and there's no way to put them, no way to tuck the film in there. So this top has holes in it, and I don't want to go over that because those are going to clip in to a part in there, I'm sure. And actually, let's just go ahead and wrap this over, and then I will go ahead and trim that on the top there. All right, so once we get this part on and we get this in place and get it bolted up, back up, this will be a great seam along there. Again, because there won't be a seam. All right, the other thing to note about this wheel well is that there's like 1, 2, and then 3 clips on there that you need to remove in order to pull, get to those bolts. They're just plastic clips. You pop the center out. If you work on Teslas, you already know about those, I'm sure. Especially if you take out the cameras, because there's 2 of them to get in there on the back side. Well, so what I did here with this edge hanging over is I left it plenty long enough to actually wrap it around and stick it to the back of the bumper. That way there's no edge to catch dirt down the road. All right, so let's go ahead and tuck in around the side marker, or the blinker, I guess it is.
In the computer, they call that fog light.
Fog light?
Yeah.
Huh, maybe it is. I'm pretty sure it blinks though. I'm positive it blinks actually, so. Well, no, I guess you have to turn it on. I mean, in order... Oh my gosh, it's not a blinker. Oh, they're in the headlight. Are they always in the headlight forever?
I think so.
Oh boy, I've been calling that a blinker. So let's cut around this fog light. I'll edit that out. Ah, shit. What are you gonna do? I thought that was a blinker. I wonder if they used to be a blinker. Now I gotta know. I'm gonna have to go back and look. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cut out around this fog light. I thought that was a blinker. Okay, so I trimmed this earlier before I pushed it into here, and then this part here, I'm gonna go ahead and come down. It'll tuck in there just a little bit, and the rest of it I want to put a little relief cut in. So I'm going to come this direction. I'm not going to come straight at an angle like this, like at a 45, because then you're going to see it more on this part. So I'm going to come across a little bit more like this, because that'll put most of that line, the relief cut line, visibly will be up here, and you're not going to see that. Okay, and then right here, we're gonna basically do the same thing. I'm gonna come from about there and come almost straight over on top of the fog light. Apparently that's a fog light. How many customers have I called that a blinker in front of? A whole bunch of them. I mean, I would almost bet money on the fact that it was a blinker on some of yours. All right, we'll come back and put a little heat on that. It'll stick down this same area, this area up in here as well is kind of popping up. And once it's tucked in there, it's a little bit difficult to get water underneath it or more. At this point, I would try water because it's already got alcohol tack solution under it. It's not sticking that well, but there is quite a bit of moisture left in there, so we'll get back to that later. All right, so what I'm gonna do on this edge here is actually cut it a little long, and I'm gonna tuck it down in. And this edge I went just a little bit long on so that we can wrap it just over the edge and tuck it down. That's going to need to be done with the heat gun though. Actually, let's cut a little bit of this off. So right about there. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do is tuck this part first so that I can get a grip on this and pull a little bit and tuck that in. So let's chomp this down. All right, and then I grab here, pull, and then tuck this in. So on all these edges, I'm going to come back and retouch them up after the material's more dry. Right now we're just trying to get our fitment down and get things wrapped and tucked where we can. And then most of this is going to require a little bit of heat to seal these edges down. All right, for the tow hook, we're going to go ahead and cut off and leaving about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to try a little bit of the water out. it's pulling up on the bottom there. And then we'll let that dry a bit and cure, and then we'll go ahead and put some heat on that. Again, we'll trim just about 1/8 of an inch over, so we've got some overhang there. And then we'll give ourselves 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch here, going across. All right, and then we'll pull back on this again and tuck this in. Okay, so I'm coming across pretty close to the bottom of the headlight. I'm about 1/4 inch from the bumper to my cut line. That'll give us plenty of material to tuck in so that we don't see an edge. All right, we'll get some tack solution underneath there. I'll tuck this in. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and trim some of this off. Little tack solution, and we'll tuck that part down. Again, we're doing about 1/4 inch here, and then we're going to tuck it around to the back side of the bumper. That's about it for the bumper. Moving right along. So when I trim this out, I'm going to stay really close, like not in between the two. I'm going to try to get closer to the handle than to the paint on the door. All right, so we're gonna spray some tack solution in there, and then we're gonna wrap this in. And these edges, I'm just gonna do what I call a wrap and hold. All right, then we'll go ahead and dry out the edges. All right, so we're not expecting that all to stay stuck down right now. We're gonna go ahead and let that dry out, and then I'll push it down again, and then I'll come back and heat seal that edge, and then it'll stay down. All right, let's go ahead and finish this up. We're gonna trim these edges and wrap everything, and this will sit over the weekend, and then we'll heat seal on Monday. All right, so let's take care of this area first on this side. And so we'll do some edges, and we'll do some corners, and we'll wrap all this in. All right, let's get this tucked in. So we'll go ahead and chomp this down. Let's go ahead and trim this corner. Just gonna take this off just right here at the bottom at a 45. All right, we'll go ahead and trim this off. So I'm leaving just about 1/4 inch. All right, well, let's go ahead and finish up some of these edges and corners. Today, I usually floating between 650 and 700. I'm feeling like 680 today. So the first thing I'm gonna do is wrap the very edges. Wrap the very corners. And then I'm gonna go in from the sides towards the center. So we're gonna go ahead and take care of this edge right here. So what we're gonna do is put some heat on it on the outside here. And we're gonna wrap that very corner. And then we're gonna wrap the edge, starting at the corner and working our way towards the middle. Same thing here. Put some heat on it, get the corner, and then we'll work our way towards the center of the edge. We'll go ahead and wrap this bottom section down a bit. All right, let's adjust your angle here so you can see the other corner. So we'll get the corner first, and then we'll bring the edges from the sides towards the middle. All right, so this is all finished. We've got all the edges wrapped. The only thing that we will do at the end is come back and heat seal all those edges. So you can see that's a great corner there. Oh, this thing drives me crazy. Wish there was a way just to make that stay closed all the time. I feel like I'm at like a restaurant and some lady's trying to clean the table around me with that thing. It's like so persistent. There you have it. Let's see if we can get a little bit of shot on the inside here. Not sure how this will even show up. So you can see that the edges aren't fully sealed, but we'll take care of that later. Awesome, well, I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.